This is the Real Estate Guide to Success video series. I'm Vance Poindexter. We have Ronnie Adams with us.
Yep.
And today we're going to talk about relationships.
And we're not talking about no like funny
not
stuff.
Woman, man,
okay.
or anything else.
Oh no.
We're talking about the relationships you need to build in your business to be successful.
Yes.
People tend to gloss over, oh, this is not important. If you don't have this, you will fail.
You
period.
will fail. Period.
All right. Let's start with the first one we talked about.
All right.
The people who help you build up your properties, the crews, the electrical, the plumbing, the painting, you know, people who do the construction, the floors.
Yeah,
How do you come up with these people? How do you build those relationships?
In the beginning, that you're going to most likely do some of the work yourself.
Yeah, I remember you did.
Yes. So
you and who else?
Me and my dad.
Yes, sir.
Me and my dad. We was out there working. You know what I mean? So this was when I was still teaching.
Right.
You know,
so you had a full-time job.
I had a full-time job, so I couldn't afford in the beginning to pay somebody to do work.
Okay.
So what I did was we would go and we fix the houses up ourselves. But now we did things that were. Well, some things we did, we never ripped sheetrock down before or hung sheetrock or taped it, you know, so we learned how to do that,
right.
you know.
But at some point it was like too much, right? You had to
what ended up happening was that once you start, you do one or two houses, you realize two people, or if you're doing it yourself, it's taking you a month to finish a house, you know, so the profit, it may take 3 months for you to buy the house, fix it up, get the loan, get your money back where you're ready to buy another one.
Right.
And this is for people who are looking to do more than one.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So what I started doing was after I did, 5 or 6, I accumulated some cash. So then I said, okay, I'm not moving. These houses are taking me 3 months, and I'm looking at other houses that are passing me by. So what I have to do, I got to figure out, I can't do a house, buy another one, let that one sit, waiting for me to finish this one.
Right.
So I said, okay, let me get somebody else to come in and help me out. So what I did was I would have my dad, and I had him bring on one of his friends, and they would do some of the fix-up.
Okay.
So while they were doing the fix-up, now if I need an electrician, I would bring an electrician. Now, once you bring an electrician or a plumber or whoever you're going to bring, most likely, if he gives you a decent price, and he's going to give you a decent price because he's looking at the next house.
Yeah, he knows
you're going to get more work. So now you build a relationship with that particular plumber or electrician. Now you need a kitchen. Then you might go to Home Depot, let's just say, to buy a kitchen, but you need somebody to put it in. So you're going to have someone that you try one time.
Right.
He may be a little bit high or whatever, but he's going to start dropping his price. And you're going to trust that if I tell you to go somewhere and do something, you're actually going to be there and you're going to do it.
So it is a trial and error time.
It's a trial and error.
How are you finding these guys? Just in general?
Well, a lot of times
maybe?
it'd be referral. You know, I mean, remember, and this is one of our earlier casts talking about how I started. I had a friend who brought me in.
Right.
You know, so he had a couple guys that he used. So then I would use a couple of them. So a lot of times, most people have had something even in their own house that broke. So you call that guy, and you're going to be able to work his number down a little bit where it needs to be in your budget.
Right.
You know, as long as you keep it in your, and don't think about trying to beat somebody down on their price all the time, because if you make somebody do a job for less profit than they were looking at, they're not going to do a good job, and they're going to look at getting you back.
Later on.
So you need to figure out in your price to make sure that your subcontractor who you're using, he can make a decent profit also.
Okay.
So he's always going to look at, hey, Vance, when are you doing your next one? Whatever, So you can have him go out and look at a house before you even buy it.
Right. Okay, so
and he gives you a price.
That works well for electricians, contractors, plumbers to do a lot of that hands-on work. Trial and error, referrals, and trying to work with them to promise them maybe more business if they do a good job and give you a good price.
Yeah, because those people are what we call your foundation. Don't read the top stuff because that was notes, but
you do need a foundation.
You need the foundation of your business. If you had, foundation, but if you don't have a strong foundation for a house, what happens?
It crumbles.
It crumbles. So you have to have a strong foundation for your business. And your foundation for your business is going to be the people who are working for you, whether they're electricians, plumbers, your carpenter, your realtor.
That's where we're going next. Can we go there next?
We're going to a realtor.
So, people put the properties together for you. They maintain them. They build them up. They get them ready for you to sell. What about the people who help you find the property?
Find the property. You need a realtor who is going to look out for your best interest first.
Okay.
Because remember, that realtor, he or she has one thing really that they're looking at: to sell a property, to make a profit.
Right.
Now, if they know that, okay, Vance, you're a good one, that I can get a quick sale. I'm not going to get as much profit, but this house I'm not going to hold on to too long. I'm calling you first.
Okay.
You know, if we happen to be, and I always say that you need to build a relationship with who you're working with or who's working with you, almost like a friend thing. You know, so that you can call them up and be like, hey, you got something? But I want to make it so that they call me when they have something.
Good.
You know,
a benefit for them.
Exactly. Right. It's a benefit for them, and they're going to think about you almost like they think about a friend.
Now, what about, so are you saying one person, or are you saying, you know, maybe two or three to have some risk
Well, I'll say this here. The one realtor, they're going to think they're the only one. But there have to be 3, 4 others that I have out there too that I also have the same relationship with.
Excellent.
You know what I mean?
Excellent.
Yeah, most definitely.
And then finding them, same thing, kind of trial and error.
Trial and error.
Going through referrals.
Yep.
Okay.
A lot of times with the realtors, I would find a house and I would just call the realtor who it was. Who was listed. And then a lot of times they come out and then you kind of, exactly.
Okay.
Even if I go to settlement. Sometimes I would go to settlement and the selling agent would have a lawyer there. If you can almost see if you have a little repertoire with the person.
Sure.
So once he's a lawyer dealing with real estate. That's why he's there. You know. So oh man, give me your card. You know, I like the way you conducted yourself today.
Very nice.
Now I find a real estate lawyer that I can possibly use, you know. So that's what you always want to keep your eyes open for someone that's going to be able to expand your business. Relationships is the most important thing when it comes to your business. It's the most important thing. It doesn't matter about a house. It matters about relationships.
So that's important because, I mean, so when you're meeting with somebody, when you are on the phone with somebody, those interactions, those first interactions matter, right?
They matter.
You need to be looking out for how people interact from a business perspective with you. And also what you're saying to them, too. Because you never know down the road where they might have another connection for you.
You know,
you might be able to help them.
Exactly. If you go for an interview, and most people know the anxiety that you feel when you go for an interview. I don't know that.
It's
been a while. But anyway, I remember way back. But anyway, if you're going to sit on the other side of the table with someone who you don't know, and you don't have a relationship with that person, then you're going to feel that anxiety. If you're coming to that same interview, but you were referred by a friend of yours who said that, look, I already talked to him or her, you know, just go in, conduct yourself in a professional manner, but everything's going to be cool. You know, the job's almost in your hands. Just don't screw it up. You know, when you go then, you feel totally relaxed. You feel much better. So that's what you want to happen with the people who you deal with in your business. You want them to feel like that with you. Because now you're that guy on the other side of you're the one hiring at this point. You know, you need to remember that when you go to the mortgage company, if you have all your ducks in a line, they want to give a loan to you. That's what you want them to feel. You know, your contractors, you want them to want to do work for you. So they're going to keep your stuff lower. If you can do that, then you'll find that your business, if you build the foundation right, then it will move. That machine will move, whether you're there or not. That's what you want.
Well, the last thing I want to cover here is dealing with other real estate investment professionals. So you can't do every deal. Right?
No,
You can't do it all. You might have folks that you deal with, crews that you deal with, investment, financial people you deal with. What about interaction with other investors? I mean, I think that's important too, because they can bring properties and scenarios to you that you can benefit from, and you can do the same thing.
I mean, I remember a specific situation where I found a house where I had like 2 houses. I would have like 2, 3 almost in the pipeline. So, but I knew I couldn't go no further than that. So another house would pop up, was a good deal. So I would call someone else and say, yo, man, you want to look at this one? Because I would buy it, but I really can't, you know. And they would come in and buy it. So then they're going to do the same thing for you.
That's right.
Now, if you have 4 or 5 people out there, then you're always, I'll say, my realtor, and I'm going to say that I use this one particular realtor, and say 15 years ago, you would figure it was a good time. Everybody should have been able to buy houses. But it wasn't. You know, people still were like, oh, I can't find them, because the prices were higher, so you wasn't finding good deals. So, but I seemed to be always able to find one. And my realtor said to me one time, he said, Ronnie, you know what? You know why you find deals where other people don't? And I was like, and we happened to be in front of a house I was about to buy, you know. So he said, because you look for them every day. So if you have people out there that you built relationships with that are funneling properties back to you, then you'll find deals every day. You'll be passing them up. Whereas, like, I can't do that one. There's too many, you know, whatever like that. Everything is about, I can't stress enough how important it is for you to, it's almost like having a business that you have all of your good friends that you can really trust. You only got like 3 of them. Everybody has like 3, you know, but that you can really trust in your business with you. So they can be doing other stuff that everything is growing at that point.
They will open that network up.
Exactly. So you got a strong foundation. And okay, no more of that. But you know, that is very, very important. It's more important with your relationships than anything else. Everything else builds off of that.
Right.
Everything else builds off of it. Your relationships are the foundation of whatever your business is.
Okay, I hope we have pounded that home to everybody.
Pounded it.
It's important. You need to do it. Do not overlook it. Hopefully Ryan's experience has helped you. Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Thanks.